Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to my booktube channel, Talia Nerds Out. Today, well, first of all, happy St. Patrick's Day, hence the green. I thought last time my booktube was a bit on the long end, and because I can go on forever about, well, any topic just about. So I decided today that I would split my booktube, like 2 separate videos. Might be posted the same day, might be posted one day after another. I haven't decided yet. But the first video, which is what we're doing here, is going to be on March Mystery Madness. I don't know if I'm following all the rules correctly. This is I haven't been doing booktube very long, so still getting used to what everybody does, still trying to watch as many videos as I can while still getting reading time in. So, to jump into March Mystery Madness, actually, first of all, I am drinking some, dripping tea. Let's put this down. I like these covers for the tea. A friend got this for me. Whimsical feeling. And I have Irish breakfast in here. Well, actually, Plum Deluxe calls it something different. Before they got their Irish breakfast, got their blend they actually call Irish breakfast. This was their Irish breakfast. They call this, so it's something fog. Hold on. Something fog. I can't remember. It's over there somewhere. I don't feel like getting up. But this, I'm not sure if this one's available anymore. It's not London Fog. That would be weird. Maybe Irish Fog. I can't remember. It's basically an Irish breakfast steeped at 190 Fahrenheit. And it actually brings out the flavor very nicely. Keeps it from getting too bitter. 3 minutes for anyone who's curious. And I use loose leaf tea because I'm a snob. Also, Char's gluten-free, dairy-free shortbread. Anyhow, back to March Mystery Madness. I did finish a few of the books that I had aimed to finish, start and finish last time. The first one was The 5 Red Herrings. This was a Lord Peter Wimsey book by Dorothy L. Sayers. I really enjoyed this one. This one dealt very much into the artistic world. My dad paints with oils, so it was very interesting because I was trying to pick his brain to see if any of the clues dealt with painting. And between the two of us, we did actually end up figuring out one of the important clues. But in the end, we were borne out, which was nice because we spent way too much time trying to figure out with the information provided what the clue was, because Dorothy L. Sayers did something horrible, which I have never seen any other mystery author do. I've never seen her do before, which is she said that Lord Peter Wimsey was searching in the bag and in the pockets for something and couldn't find it. And when the police asked him what he was looking for, he told them, but she said, "I'm not going to share this with you right now, but if you're smart, you'll have been able to figure it out," which was infuriating. I have never known a mystery author do this. So, of course, I usually don't read with as much mindfulness and detail as I probably should. So I went back and reread the section, and then I went and discussed it with my dad, like I said, who's an artist, that he's self-taught, does it during his free time. So, yeah, we ended up figuring out after way too much conversation, but, yeah, it was a challenge that I couldn't really let go because I found that irritating. So good on Dorothy L. Sayers. But yeah, it was an interesting book. I did not pick out the murderer. I wish I had paid more attention to certain details, even though my dad and I did figure out what the clue was. Sometimes I get too caught up in Lord Peter Wimsey himself, and I don't pay as much attention as I should do to the clues, even though she did have them there. I just didn't notice. The next one was a reread for me, although it did come up on my spinner for rereads of Agatha Christie that I hadn't read yet when I started rereading all of them again last year. Why Didn't They Ask Evans? I used to have the physical copy of this back when I had all my physical copies. I can't remember which cover I had. I think I had one with the golf ball. Why didn't they? Oh wait, this doesn't have any of the covers. I don't know why I'm looking here, because it just has like random pictures. Yeah, I think I had the one with like either a cleat, a golf shoe with a cleat and the bloody golf ball, but I can't remember for sure because it's been so long. When I was younger, it wasn't necessarily my favorite of her books. I actually always had a little bit of trouble connecting to Frankie, Lady Frances. And I can see now how a lot of Agatha Christie's younger, plucky female characters really took a lot of their influence from Tuppence, who is actually my favorite of her young, plucky characters. They all tend to have nicknames. You have Frankie. Oh, what is the one from Secret of the Chimneys and the Seven Dials? Begins with B. Bundle, I think is her nickname. So it's like they all kind of run along. Oh, and then there's Victoria, who doesn't have a nickname, and I can't remember the one from The Man in the Brown Suit. But they all kind of have similar characteristics, even though they're not exact carbon copies. But Tuppence is my favorite of her plucky young female characters. I did enjoy Why Didn't They Ask Evans? In some ways, I think in this one it is Bobby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Bobby in this one. In some ways, Bobby reminds me of Tommy, who I actually like them both. I probably like Tommy better, Tommy and Tuppence, but I do like Bobby. It was an enjoyable read for the second time around. I can see parallels between Why Didn't They Ask Evans and The Secret Adversary, which is interesting. But it's definitely not. She didn't completely rip the plot off or anything. I can just see certain similarities, particularly with our two main leads, and then with just some of the way their dynamics play out. But one of the main things being that they both Tommy and Tuppence and Frankie and Bobby had each known each other since childhood. So that's just one thing. And they have similar characteristics, just personality-wise. So it's just interesting comparing Why Didn't They Ask Evans to The Secret Adversary, which is the first Tommy and Tuppence. I did also read Passenger to Frankfurt, another Agatha Christie. This is probably my least favorite Agatha Christie. I honestly, I think it was Sir Nigel Stafford. I'm pretty sure that was his full name. Sir Nigel Stafford, I believe. Stafford Nye. I apologize. Sorry, Stafford Nye. Stafford Nye deserved better than the plot he got. I really enjoyed the very first part where he meets Marianne, and you have that whole beginning part in the airport. I really enjoyed that part. And they really set you up thinking that she really sets you up thinking this is going to be a great story. Stafford Nye is a great character. Marianne is interesting. And then everything sort of peters out. For one thing, I don't generally, like, other than with Tommy and Tuppence, who I kind of consider more of actual mysteries, I don't generally care for Agatha Christie's attempt at spy stories as much as her mysteries. barring Tell Me Tuppence, who, like I said, they kind of dip into the mystery waters more than most of Agatha Christie spy mysteries, or spy attempts, spy stories. That's actually why The Big Four is probably my least favorite Poirot story. Even though when I was a kid that was probably my favorite, now I don't like it nearly as much. It feels a little bit melodramatic. But I think Passenger to Frankfurt had a lot of potential. Strong, interesting characters at the beginning, but like I said, I think it sort of petered out. I think Agatha Christie had things she wanted to say. I think I had read that this was written 7 years before her death, and I think it was written in the 70s. I think that was when it was written. And I think that she just had a lot to say about what she had seen in the world, what she saw currently going on. I think she had a little bit of disgruntlement. She was maybe seeing patterns in human behavior. And this was after the first section where you meet the characters, which is really amazing. Once you get them into Germany, then it just drops off into soliloquies, for lack of a better term. She is using the story as a vehicle as a thinly veiled attempt to speak her mind, to let out her ideas. And the characters and their conversations are the vehicle by which she chooses to let out these ideas. And I mean, some of these ideas are interesting, talking about how, if you don't know your history, you are going to repeat the same patterns over and over again. How it can be easy to manipulate the emotions of people who are young and passionate. She had a lot of interesting ideas, but I felt like I was almost reading Agatha Christie's observations, her philosophy, not so much an actual story. And it really didn't get tied up in a satisfactory manner. It ended abruptly. It didn't really, the story itself, well, Stafford and I deserved better. So did Marianne. So, yeah, I found Passenger Frankfurt to be very disappointing. I don't know that I would willingly choose to read it again. If I remember what it's about next time I go through Agatha Christie's books, just because I didn't feel like I was reading an Agatha Christie. It diverged greatly from her other books. It felt more like a treatise with the bare bones of a plot around it. So anyhow, that is my rant on Passenger to Frankfurt. I need a sip of Irish breakfast. Fog cutter. That's what Plum Deluxe calls his tea. Fog cutter. That is so good. 190 is a good temperature for that tea. Okay. Now I do have a couple of bonus mysteries that I decided to pick up. And actually, unintentionally, one of them ends up fitting the challenge that Too Fond for Books, another booktuber, that she put out, which it was to read a mystery book about an amateur female detective. And this also falls in with Middle Grade March. I'm pretty sure this falls in with Middle Grade March. My mom and I have been talking about some of the books that got us started, like into mystery books in general. So this is where this comes in. I had started off with things like Encyclopedia Brown. I had read a lot of Boxcar Children. Read some Trixie Belden. One part, I think I read a full Beverly Gray. They're hard to find now. Let's see, who else? Oh, Bobbsey Twins. Didn't read as much of them. And then, of course, the classic Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys. I don't care for the more modern ones, where they really bring them up to date. Once you can tell in the covers that Nancy's hairstyles are looking less and less like they did, with that little upturned curl that she has in the original classic books, then I start getting less interested because I know that the feel's going to change. But I like classic Nancy Drew, classic Hardy Boys. With the old yellow cover for Nancy Drew and the old blue cover for the Hardy Boys. I don't know what my mom did with her old collection. Well, actually, it was my aunt's old collection that she gave to my mom for my sister and I. So that's a long way to say that I ended up revisiting Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys because my mom and I were talking about these books that got us started. Because those books were in the ones that got me started along the path that put me on to Agatha Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers and all those other kind of people. Agatha Christie first, though. I only read some of the other ones much later. So I started with number 1, The Secret of the Old Clock. It's a Nancy Drew, so it's by Carolyn Keene, who I've read. Well, I've been told, my mom's always told me that Carolyn Keene and Franklin W. Dixon are the same person, singular person, and that Franklin W. Dixon was the actual author. Now, something I looked up said it was actually a group of writers. I don't know which is correct, but that it was the same group of writers for both. I enjoy The Secret of the Old Clock. You can tell it was written during a different time period. Some of the choices in writing style, for one thing, you could tell it's aimed at a younger audience. For another thing, it just a lot more description, like the pretty girl did XYZ instead. I don't know. It's things that you wouldn't see in writing now in the same frequency. At least not in things that would be considered well written now. Not Nancy Drew is well written, but it's definitely a product of its time period. But yes, it was enjoyable. But yeah, it was a little bit different than there's a lot of coincidences. Like, Nancy would be like, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get access into this house where the people don't like me. And then immediately her friend comes up and now she has a way to get into this house where the people don't like her. Just things like this. And it happens a lot where, oh gosh, I wonder how I will find this clock. Oh, it happens to be at the same place where there's a camp that I was invited to, like, right before I went into this house where the people don't like me. Where I previously was able to gain access by coincidence. What another coincidence! So it's fun, but it's definitely very coincidence filled. And with very little attempt to hide it. But that being said, it's a fun read. It was just amusing to me. I also listened to classic Poe on Libby. I don't really consider it to fall in the mystery area, more in the somewhat horror, no, not really horror, suspense maybe? Because it had things like Cask of Amontillado, it had The Telltale Heart, The Raven, a couple of other ones like that had more of a creepy feel. I was hoping it would have the one with the detective, his like the big first detective that they of Poe's they said started the whole thing for the locked room mysteries and all that, but it didn't have that in there. So I will eventually have to read that because I haven't yet. So I did listen to that. Currently reading, well, of course, because I read Nancy Drew, I have to do the Hardy Boys. And that actually works for the 2x2 for March Mystery Madness, because it's the Tower Treasure T, and it's the Hardy Boys, and there's 2 of them. So there you go. That is how I tie it in. And the cover for this, I really don't care for the cover for this Hardy Boys. It doesn't look like the classic one. It's kind of, at least not the way I remember the classic one. It's kind of bad. Oh, by the way, speaking of covers, look at my new Kindle cover. I had to get a new one because the other one, the magnet, was too strong and it kept pulling at my finger splints, which is really annoying when I was trying to read. But this one is really pretty. It's really sturdy, which is great because I constantly drop my Kindle. And it's got a kickstand. So, yes, it has a little magnet, but it's not enough, and it's not where I tend to put my hands for my splint. So, it works. So, let me bring up the cover for... let me go to my collections and to my current read / TBR. Okay, so here is the cover. Okay, good. I have a bookmark there so I can go back to the cover. Okay. Oh, hold on. It's still on night view. Let me take that off. Take it off the blue shield, turn off the light a bit. There we go. Isn't that terrible? I don't know if you guys can really see it. It's just bad. It doesn't look at all like classic Hardy Boys. I'm kind of disappointed. But oh well. It's still classic Hardy Boys, even if the cover is horrible. And I'm actually enjoying it more than I did Nancy Drew, which kind of lends credence to the idea that maybe the author is male, because he seems to be more comfortable writing the male characters. They seem a little bit more natural. I enjoy the dynamics a bit more. Now, granted, in the first Nancy Drew, you don't meet George, you don't meet Bess. I believe it's Bess. It's really just Nancy. Whereas the Hardy Boys, right from the start, you have basically your whole cast. You have Joe, you have Frank, you have Chet, you have Chet's sister Iona, you have Callie, Frank's girlfriend. And then you have all the other guys that are in their gang of friends, the other boys. So right off the bat, Frank and Joe start off with a group of friends in a way that feels a lot more natural. The interplay is very natural. But to be fair to Nancy, you don't really see her for any sustained period of time with her peers. She's consistently with her father or running into people that she doesn't really know very well. She might develop a really good connection with them, but she doesn't know them particularly well. So I will give that for Nancy. But yeah, I can see why my mom has always preferred the Hardy Boys, and I probably will follow in the same suit. I don't remember having a preference as a kid, mostly because at that point in my life, I actually really liked the Boxcar Children. I read like as many as I possibly could before I moved on to Agatha Christie. So yeah, that's for the Hardy Boys. So if Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew count as March Mystery Madness, they count as March Mystery Madness. If they count as middle grade March, there's also a middle grade March. Sort of as another attempt to fill in to have another book with a female amateur detective, I decided to reread The Secret Adversary, which I had mentioned previously as the first Tommy and Tuppence book that Agatha Christie wrote. Also, I felt like I needed a reward after having read Passenger to Frankfurt. And it's enjoyable. I had been reading it from a multi-book set, like with all the Tommy and Tuppence's books. It was a horrible version of this book. I had recently read it in a different format where the typing was good, but there were two major errors within the first few chapters which caught my attention right away. There's one point where Tuppence tells someone in a very almost saccharine sweet way, "I do so love money." In the multi-book collection, she says, "I don't love money." And then the other thing is, there's a point where, I don't remember what it was that Tuppence says, but Tommy says, something to the effect of watch your language. But in the multi-book version, he tells her to watch her luggage. So, yeah, I'm not reading the multi-book one. That was how I was originally going to read. Where is it? By the Pricking of My Thumbs, which is another Tommy Tuppence. I'm not reading it from there because I don't think I've fully read By the Pricking of My Thumbs. If I have, it's been a very, very long time. So I don't believe that multi-book Kindle of all the Tommy Tuppences will be the way to go because I can't trust it. So I now have single of all the Tommy and Tuppences. So I can at least trust them. So once I finish Secret Adversary, I'll go with the TBR that I had last time set up, which was by the Pricking of My Thumbs, which is, I think it's a couple years down the line for Tommy and Tuppence. I think they're older at that point. Then I talked about the Tower of Treasure. Oh, this doesn't really fall into mystery, but I'm putting it here anyway. Read some more of Poirot and Me by David Suchet, which is very interesting if you are a Poirot fan, even if you don't particularly care for the TV show. I like David Suchet as Poirot, but I take issue with the TV show a lot because they play fast and loose with the plot in some ways in rather an egregious fashion, like blatant plot changes. Example, look at Cards on the Table. Oh, it makes me so mad. I love Cards on the Table as a book, and they completely wrecked it in the TV show. But David Suchet is an excellent Poirot. He nails the part. I actually really like the cast. Just whoever does the scripts, they don't always respect the source material, in my opinion. But I am also never pleased by anything that comes out on screen for Agatha Christie because I do this with anything that I like to read that comes out. You can't get me a Batman movie that I'm completely thrilled with because I'm a big Batman fan. You're not gonna, most books, when they're done into movies, if I really enjoyed the book, you're just not gonna please me. So don't take my word for it if you don't tend to mind adaptations of books that you love. You might really enjoy the TV show. I am a bit rigid in that area, so yes, that is your warning. Okay, so continuing for my TBR, I had mentioned I will read By the Pricking of My Thumbs when I'm done with The Secret Adversary. Then I had drawn last time that I need to read The Mystery Mile by Marjorie Allingham, and that is a Albert Campion book. I started at one point and I didn't finish it, so I'm going to start it all over again because it's been a while. Then I'm really looking forward to this one, but I can't do it until after The Mystery Mile, The Floating Admiral by the Detection Club. This I'm really looking forward to because the Detection Club was a group of Golden Age mystery writers all together. And my goal is to read as many of the books by the authors in the Detection Club as I can. Actually, I want to read almost all the Golden Mystery Age authors as I can. So I'm collecting names and like putting them on Amazon wish lists so I can keep track of when the prices go down. My library doesn't always have the books that I want because I have a very small library. I did luck out though. The library in the town next door, which is a little bit bigger than ours, I sent them an email asking, because I'm basically homebound, except for like doctor's appointments and I try to make it to church on Sundays if I'm feeling okay. But making a trip out to the library, not so much. So I sent them an email because usually most libraries will have you come in and show photo ID to get a library card. both my local library and now the one in town next door were very kind in working with me so that I can get one through the mail and I don't have to go in physically. So I'm really excited because with the library card from the town next door, now I have 2 libraries in my Libby app from which to draw books from. So if one library doesn't have it, hopefully the other library will, if I'm interested in a book. Because unfortunately, my local library doesn't have like English history in the way I'd like it to. Just some things I'm really interested in. Okay, also my TBR, as drawn last time, was The Holy Thief by Ellis Peters, and that's a Brother Catfile mystery. And as if I don't have enough on my TBR, I'm going to end this with drawing a few more mystery books. Because once I get on a mystery book, particularly Agatha Christie, I can read 1 or 2 Agatha Christies in one sitting. Or maybe not one sitting, because I might be walking around, like, grabbing food while I'm reading it. I can read 1 or 2 Agatha Christies in one day. I think my record might be 3. Maybe 4. But, so we're going to do a spin. I've been known to stay up way too late reading Golden Mystery authors, just so I can finish the book. Okay, so for our first is we're going to draw 3 for Agatha Christie. And these are ones that I haven't read for a very long time. So, first spin. And then there were none. It has been a very long time since I've read this one. I remember not caring for the movie version that I saw, which that shouldn't shock anybody. It was a black and white. They really changed things. We'll just leave it at that. So, okay. That's our first one for Agatha Christie. Another spin. Endless Night. I am pretty sure I've never read this one. And I'll read the little blurb about it in my little Agatha Christie book that I have over there once I'm done. All right, now our last one. Three-act tragedy. I think I read this one, or maybe it was something called In the Spider's Web. I'm not sure if it's the same name. I feel like I read this one in play form a very, very long time ago. I feel like it had a title to do with like spiders or something though. We'll see what my book says. Okay, so if you guys don't remember from last time, this is my Checker Bee checklist for Agatha Christie. I finally remember what the name was of the Mary Westmacott I was trying to remember last time. It was, hold on, Giant Spread, which I never finished reading because I disliked the characters so much, and I kept waiting for someone to be killed, and I was very disappointed when no one was. Even though I knew no one was going to be killed, it just felt like she was leading up to it. So, but we were going to look at, and then there were none first, so let's see. It's going to be in our section for general mystery novels. Well, I thought it would be in the section for general mystery. Oh, they might have it under 10 Little Indians. Let's see. Yeah, that's where they have it. So, setting is an island off the coast of England, 1930s, and was written in 1939. Enticed by irresistible invitations, 10 men and women attend a special house party on an island held by a host whose identity remains a mystery. Once they settle in, a recording informs the guests that they all have one thing in common. They all, directly or indirectly, have been involved in a past murder. Wow, anyone else getting cards on the table vibes? I wonder which one came first. Hold on. Even though it's not exactly the same, but okay, cards on table. Okay, cards on the table was first. That was written 1936. 10, and then there were none was written 1939. Just interesting. There's a few similarities, just with the basic premise. It doesn't play out the same way, but it's just interesting. Okay, blah, blah, blah. As they are slowly killed off, the guests realize that their mysterious host is exacting revenge upon them. Initially confused and outraged, the guests soon turn desperate. Who is this mysterious avenging angel, and how could he know all their murderous histories? I do vaguely remember what happened. I even think I remember who done it. But it's been a very long time since I've read this, so I look forward to reading it again. Now Endless Night, which is another one that's one of her ones that does not have. Actually, I think all of these do not have any of the well-known characters. Probably because I've read most of the ones with the, especially recently, most of the ones with the known characters. Sorry, I got thirsty. I don't know why I grabbed this instead of my tea, but Endless Night. This is written in 1967, set in England 1960s. Michael Rogers' dream was to fall in love, get married, and live in a beautiful house. His dream comes true when he meets Ellie Gutmann at the auction of Gypsy's Acre, an estate with a grim past. The two fall in love, elope, and purchase Gypsy's Acre, the perfect place to begin their life together. But that's not how Mrs. Lee sees it. The village gypsy warns, "There's a curse on this land. Death it will bring you, and danger." Almost immediately, strange things begin to happen, from shattering windows that cut Ellie's face to a suspicious horseback riding accident that kills her. Spoiler alert. It seems everyone who comes near Gypsy's Acre is in danger. Is there a curse on the forsaken estate, or is there someone behind the mystery? I don't read these things before I read them to you, so I actually didn't know that was in there. Sorry. So yeah, never read that one. I'm pretty sure I've never read that one. Now, let's see about 3-Act Tragedy. I really feel like I've read this by a different title. Okay. Oh, I wonder if they have a different section for her plays. Okay, screenplays. Hold on. Spider's Web. That's one I remember. So maybe it's something different. Oh, you know what? I think 3-Act Tragedy is actually... Oh, it might be one of her other characters I didn't realize. Because the one I'm thinking of is Spider's Web, which I did read in play form way back when. So let me go back. Oh, wait, I saw it. Go, go, go. Where were you? Where were you? It might be actually Poirot, which, how did I not know that? Okay, it's been a while since I've read this one, because I don't actually remember this one. Okay, so it is a Poirot that I don't remember, which is quite shocking. It's set in 1930s, London's 1930s. It was written in 1935. So this is actually pretty prime Poirot period. How do I not remember this? How exciting! Retired actor Sir Charles Cartwright has invited several friends, including famed detective Hercule Poirot, to a soiree at his home in Loumouth? I wonder if that's pronounced differently than it looks. Anyway, the party quickly ends, however, when Mr. Babington, what a fun name, drinks a fatal cocktail. Not nearly so fun. Yet, upon analysis, the drink shows absolutely no evidence of poison. The curious becomes truly suspicious when sometime later, Sir Bartholomew Strange, a guest at Cartwright's party, and I'm not going to continue reading because I'm not sure I want to give away anything else. So there you go. He does something. So yeah, I'm really excited. I did not realize there was a Poirot that I had not basically memorized. I'm really, really excited about that. Yay. Okay, now for the Golden Age mystery spin. I have a feeling this is still going to run long. I am so sorry. This is just the mystery ones. Okay, 3 of these. I include Brother Padfile, the Alice Peters in here, even though she's not technically Brother Cathcall's not technically Golden Age, he's after. Okay, oh, I'm going to be reading a Lord Peter Wimsey, Death of a Fool, which I have not read this. I actually have quite a few Lord Peter Wimseys I haven't read because I've only started reading him fairly recently. I'm going to go ahead and write that it's by Dorothy L. Sayers, just so I remember. Just like I'm going to write Poirot next to this one up here so I remember. Okay. And I will read you the... Actually, no, I'm going to leave it at that, I think. I don't think I'm going to read the information. I'll talk about it when I'm done. Yes. Next one. Murderer's Mistake. Oh, I think this is one of the other ones. I do have to look this up because I don't think this is anyone I've read before, which is super exciting. And I want to make sure I write down who the author is so I make sure I know for when I actually get there. So let's see who this is. Open Sesame. Okay, Leave the Hardy Boys. So, oh no, it's not going to be Correct Reads. It's going to be back. I want to go to my Golden Age mystery. Down. Golden Age mystery. Murderer's Mistake. Let's put this in alphabetical order. Title. So, we want to go all the way down to M. Oops, I think I went too far. That's O. We're almost there. Murderer's Mistake. Oh, yes, this is new to me. E.C.R. Lorac. I have never read an E.C.R. Lorac. So I'm interested in reading her. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay. Next one. I'm going to keep this pulled up in case I have another new to me Golden Age one I draw. This is my last one for that. The House in Charlton Crescent. I don't think this is anyone I've read again. I don't think it's a Patricia Wentworth. I think it's somebody else. Yeah. I can't spell Crescent. Okay, so let's see. Go up to H now. Ah, there we go. Yes, it's Annie Hayes. I thought it might be her. Okay, so Annie Hayes is interesting because apparently she kind of fell into obscurity for a while, but once digital books started coming out, she's kind of been rediscovered. And we actually apparently don't have any picture of her. The website I went to with all the Golden Age mystery writers didn't have one, because I guess there isn't one we can find. And she had rheumatoid arthritis and was basically stuck at home. So, like, even though she has apparently, like, really vivid locations described, she's not going out and going there because she was basically homebound. So, I find this really interesting. She apparently was, whoopsie, an early feminist. So, that's all for, let me hide this slice so I don't pull that again next time. That's all for this particular booktube on March Mystery Madness. I hope that you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the Poirot that I don't remember ever having read, to Death of a Fool by Dorothy L. Sayers, to Murderer's Mistake by E.C.R. Lorac, because I've never read E.C.R. Lorac, and to Annie Haynes. Not Hayes. Haynes. So, yeah. What Golden Age mystery authors do you like? Which Golden Era mystery authors would you like to read? Put in the comments below. I'd be interested in seeing if anybody watches this. But that's it for me for March Mystery Madness for this time around. Have a blessed day. Bye. editing Talia here because apparently I'm incapable of finishing a video, A, short when I intended to be, and B, without making an error about who the author is, or something about the book. Death of a Fool is not a Dorothy L. Sayers, although it sure sounds like something that she would have named one of her books. It's actually another Golden Age author I've never read. Let's try that again. Another Golden Age author I've never read. Oh gosh, I don't know how to say her name. Ngaio? Oh, sorry. That's an N, isn't it? N-G-A-I. Let's see. Let me bring that up. It is Ngaio. I don't know how to pronounce that. Marsh. So, yeah, that is someone I have never read. Oh, it's Inspector Roderick. I've heard that he's good. Hey, that's actually exciting. So, 3 authors, Golden Age authors I haven't read before, are now on my to-do. That is exciting. So, yeah, I look forward to that. Also, while I have y'all here, before I sign off, if you like knitting, please feel free to check out my knitting channel. I'm not sure if I have a link, in the description, but I do have a link on my channel. I think when you enter my channel, it's there, underneath the people I subscribe to. So yeah, it's called Pen Hook and Needles Podcast, if you are interested in knitting podcasts that also run very long. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me today for March Mystery Madness. Have a blessed day. Bye.